Hi, welcome to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something serious. I am really hoping to shed some light on some limiting beliefs that are shared in the New Age communities, and it's around healing. So, the phrase, just let it go. Everyone says that healing requires you to just let it go. But if letting it go actually worked, you wouldn't still be stuck in the same emotional loops. The truth is, just letting it go is a harmful piece of advice because pain doesn't live in the mind, it lives in the body. So the phrase, just let it go, sounds wise, it sounds peaceful, it sounds detached, it even sounds spiritually evolved. But in reality, it often becomes a form of spiritual bypassing, which is when spiritual language is used to skip over emotional processing instead of feeling pain. We try to rise above it, or instead of working through it, we try to transcend it. But your body doesn't care what spiritual philosophy you believe. If an experience was overwhelming, humiliating, abandoning, or frightening, your body records it. And when something painful happens, it's not just a memory. Your nervous system responds immediately. So your heart rate will change. The muscles in your body start to contract. Digestion usually slows down or even stops. Your breath shifts, and a ton of hormones will flood your system. The body literally prepares to survive that particular moment. And if that experience isn't fully processed, meaning it's not fully felt, the body stores a physiological imprint. And this is why years later, something so small can trigger a huge emotional reaction, whether it be a tone of voice, a facial expression, or somebody pulling away. And then suddenly your body reacts before your mind even understands what's happening, right? This is not a weakness. This is your nervous system remembering, and it's talking to you. And this is exactly why so many people are stuck in pain loops for years while believing that they're doing the right spiritual work. Unfortunately, this is where many healing approaches get stuck. They try to solve a body problem with a mind solution. You can understand your childhood. You can analyze your patterns. You can repeat tons of affirmations every single day. But when the body detects a threat, it activates survival responses automatically. So you've all heard of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And once the nervous system is activated, the brain actually goes offline. So when someone tells you just let it go, they're literally asking your thinking brain to do something while your body is still in survival mode. It's like trying to reason with a fire alarm, for example. The alarm isn't interested in logic. You can't talk it out of, being activated. It's responding to danger signals. So when people try to let it go prematurely, something else tends to happen. The pain just doesn't disappear. It goes deep underground into the cellular level. And that's when it starts to show up as loops in your life, whether it be emotional loops or relational loops. And then you end up overgiving in relationships. You people please. You shut down emotionally. You overwork to feel worthy. And my favorite one, you attract the same type of people over and over again, right? I know this because I have been there. Okay. And this is not because you're broken. This took me years to figure out. It's not because you're broken. It's because your nervous system is still trying to resolve something that was never completed. You see, real healing isn't about forcing yourself to move on. It's about helping the body finish what it started. And this means allowing emotions to move through the system, regulating the nervous system, releasing stored tension, bringing awareness to the body's signals. And when the body feels safe enough to process the experience, the loop disappears naturally. You don't have to force yourself to let it go. Your system will actually release it on its own, but you have to know how to speak the language of your body in order to get there. So, if you've been told to just let it go and you secretly felt like something was wrong with you because you couldn't, I want you to hear this. You're not failing in healing. You're not broken. You were just given advice that only addresses half of the system. You see, real transformation happens when the mind and the body are included, but also the work is taken to the deepest level when you include the metaphysical aspects. This means tracking the original wound at the cellular level, releasing cords that are associated with outdated soul contracts with people, places, and institutions across all time and space, which means this life, past life, and parallel lives. It also means identifying and dissolving the specific emotions related to the event. What I mean by this is that anger, for example, anger is not just anger. This is usually just a surface level emotion. Looking deeper, anger can really mean hostility, rage, or resentment. And because the body releases very specific hormones related to each emotion, just like tears of sadness are not the same as tears of joy. The composition is even different in the tears. This is, I mean, science has proven this. So knowing the exact emotion lodged in the body is what will cause the dominoes to fall and unfold a deeper healing for you. So because pain isn't just a story in your head, and it is an experience your body is still trying to finish. And when you learn how to work with the body and release the underlying factors, the pain loops finally start to break and your nervous system can finally release its hold. Okay, so if you want to stay with me a little bit longer, I'm going to do an intuitive reading for you that will hopefully give you some insight as to what wounds are still caught in loops for you and why. Here we go. Okay, so what I'm sensing so far is for some people, I think that you might be seeing the situation that you're in black and white. So with black and white thinking, we can tend to be a little bit overreactive, right? So here I've got the Knight of Wands. He kind of just wants to, I actually am not sharing the cards because I read very differently than other readers. So what I feel again is the black and white, when you're just thinking black and white, right and wrong, good and bad, and it makes you overreactive, you want to take action on something. And here you want to actually stab somebody and kind of give it back to them what they gave to you, what they dished out to you, right? It's a certain type of vengeance that you want. You want them to be held accountable for what it is that they did. And then the Devil card is showing me that this is the shadow aspect of you that is needing to resolve, needing to come to the surface. So it's not, again, remember I said that anger is not just regular anger. I'm feeling that this one could be specifically rage. Okay. I feel like somebody's had a serious violation here and they were not respected. They were not seen. Their voice was not heard. Ooh, this is going to go into some serious aspects of shame and deep sorrow. So deep sorrow. If there's anybody out there who's raging about something that's happened in the past, underneath that, I'm sorry, you're asked to dig a little bit deeper and tap into the shame that you're feeling. A sacred rage ceremony would also be very, very beneficial, but underneath that, start to dig a little bit deeper and address the shame aspects. And I know that it is not fair. And I know that what they did to you was so painful. I know that they've crossed your boundaries and you trusted this person and they broke your heart, and it's a deep violation. I'm really sorry. I was not expecting the reading to go this deep so quickly. Know that you are not alone, that many of us have experienced this type of wounding, this type of experience where you may have wanted to say no, you did say no, or your body was stuck in freeze and you couldn't say no and it happened anyway. Okay, this is specifically for somebody who was stuck in freeze when the incident happened, and you feel a sense of guilt and shame for not standing up for yourself. I really want you to know my guides are telling me that this is not something that you need to carry. Your body responded by going into freeze, and that's how it protected itself, by going into freeze mode. So it's not something that you did or didn't do, but you need to let yourself off the hook for that. Okay? You are not alone. I've been there. Okay. And for other people who might be watching here, maybe it wasn't something as horrific as, having a body violation, but again, you're stuck in the black and white, right and wrong, good and bad. I did this, I did so much, I did this, I did that, I offered this, I offered that, but this person didn't see that. They stabbed me in the back anyway. They treated me poorly. This is wrong. This is wrong after everything that I have done for this person. No, that is being stuck in a little bit of victim mentality, I'm sorry to say, which we all have. God knows I've been in that in years, right? I'm still sometimes in that energy. Um, they're asking for you to be in check in terms of when you do something for somebody, are you doing it for recognition or are you really doing it out of the kindness of your heart? And try to lower the expectations. Okay, so here's where it goes back to the original wound. I'm seeing that you were trying to do something special for your father, or you wanted to be seen for doing something special as a child, but he didn't see you. And you kind of felt that he took it for granted. Maybe it was an art piece that you made for him and you handed it to him, daddy, daddy, this is what I made for you. And he's just like, oh, okay, thanks. And just kind of put it aside and never really, showed more emotion about it. And that kind of crushed your heart a little bit. So going a little bit deeper and healing that wound with the father is going to be very beneficial for you. Okay, surrender the habit of people pleasing. It's right there. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, that's all right. You just have to trust me. Surrender the habit of people pleasing. So speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. That kind of goes to what I just said, right? So you're doing this and this for this person. You were going the extra mile and they didn't appreciate it. So are you doing the people pleasing in order for you to feel safe? Do you feel the need to be seen? Do you feel the need to have security with that person? Are you afraid to be on your own? And in some cases, I'm sure that you might have, let me rephrase that. There is a legitimate fear. I would never say that it's not a legitimate fear. And in some cases, maybe the person is only with you because of what you're putting in. The balance is I can feel it. The balance is very, very heavy on your side where you end up doing a lot of the work. You're carrying most of the load. But for other people also, I am seeing and feeling that you might think that you need to carry the extra load, but in fact, you don't. So what if you just stop doing one or two things for this person? What if you pulled back your energy just by 5 to 10% and see if it actually creates the outcome that you think that it might create if you don't do those things? So it might be kind of like a false fear is what I'm trying to say. I can feel it in my gut. There's a fear for this person. This is only going back to body memory. This isn't really true for your situation. It's going back to a memory of where you felt fear that if you didn't do these things for someone, there was a safety issue, or yes, perhaps there were issues between mom and dad, and then dad wanted mom to leave the house, or maybe she wanted to leave on her own, and you felt that if you didn't start pleasing, that you would also be kicked out or have to leave with mom. So there's a fear of rejection there for the same person. Not just a security issue, there's a fear of rejection there. So it's up to you to go a little bit deeper and figure that out. Okay. Oh, interesting. So the damsel card came out. So the light attributes would be understanding the nature of healthier romance inspires you to rely on yourself. The shadow attributes would be waiting for the night to provide for you. Seduction by romantic illusion. So this kind of goes with exactly what I've been saying. So waiting for somebody else to provide for you, or relying on somebody else for stability and security. And this is why you're in that people pleasing and overgiving mode. That's why you're looping in that. And then feeling unappreciated, not seen, and always feeling like you are carrying, the heavier part of the load. It's going to be a short reading. Let's just see if there's anything else that wants to come through. Overly exerting yourself. So I believe that is between two things: overly exerting yourself and then a lack of self-expression. So some of us might be, doing too much action and putting too much energy out there in terms of our actions, when you could easily just speak to get the point across. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to get this done today because I have a commitment. So using your voice to speak your needs, or if there's something that you can't do, or you feel like you're pressured doing it, just say that. I kind of feel pressured that I have to do this when I don't have enough time to go to the gym, for example, or, I need to study, or whatever it is that you need to do, to maybe just use your words to express that a little bit. Because sometimes the other partner, if they can't read your mind, right? As much as women believe that men or want men to be able to read their minds, they just can't. So, using your voice to express that, and if there's a fear underlying why you can't use your voice, and maybe digging a little bit deeper, maybe there's a vow of silence that you said, or maybe there's a vow of suffering that you took. I don't know. But these are just some messages that I'm receiving for some of you. And I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, I would really love to hear your comments about what resonated with you or didn't resonate with you with this video. Thanks so much for watching.